You can get any job you want by sending one DM.
And if you really want it, you should try really hard, because you won't get it otherwise.
I came across the advert for this role, the copywriter role, on TikTok.
To make it as creative and stand out as much as possible.
Don't just send in a generic CV.
Persistence and not giving up goes a long way.
You'll love to see it.
Given that this episode is about getting jobs and getting your dream jobs, you got headhunted, that's quite boring. So I can't make an interesting story out of that. But if you were going to apply to Klout now in a creative way, how would you do it?
That is a good question. I'd probably make myself famous first, like proof of concept, you know? Or I'd just literally, so we did this really cool thing one time in another job where we set up a red carpet in the middle of Oxford Street and put literally a random person at the end of the red carpet and put those little things down it. Everyone started lining up to take pictures with this random person. This person was just someone from the team. But because we put the red carpet out there and because we like kind of staged people to be taking photos, we like created this hype around this stupid person. So I'd create fake hype around me somehow. I'd send off things I'd not said to publications. I'd also just, yeah, basically try and get the attention of everyone in the room by being the most opinionated. Not controversial, because you could be opinionated and not controversial. And then I'd make my own fake red carpet and make people think that I was really famous. Just to prove a concept that I can do it, because I don't actually have anything interesting to say.
Just got in the car, ready to go to Top Golf with Amelia for my little one-to-one session. Hope it's gonna be really fun. Let's do a little test. Is the car gonna start first try? Yes, there we go. We are back. I've switched to the good camera because I am the video editor, which means that I can take all the good equipment and you can get some lovely crispy golf content from me and Amelia. Hopefully gonna hit some good shots, get some high scores, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, it's points?
Sam has got a bonus ball. See if he gets the bonus. Well, it went in.
Yes, that's the bonus points.
Bonus ball. Well done.
No bonus.
No bonus?
Yeah, you gotta get it in the middle there to get the bonus.
So I found Klout through TikTok, and what attracted me to Klout was the creativity of the team. If I was to give anyone advice on how to join Klout, it would be don't just send in a generic CV that's just done on Microsoft Word, black and white. Create a really sort of creative, fun CV, and also be very fun and creative with your facts, like, and who you are, and show off your personality. I think for me, what worked was talking about how unicorns were real, and I was like, unicorns are 100% real, and that made me look a bit crazy, but I think that's what landed me the opportunity at Klout.
You can get any job you want by sending one DM. All you gotta do, connect with that CEO, that founder on LinkedIn, start spamming them, start messaging them, liking their content, interacting with their content. Eventually, your name is going to go up and up on their list, and then you send them that sneaky DM saying, have you got any job openings? Works every single time.
So, fun fact, Klout will reject you on the spot if you send them in a CV. CVs are just boring, who cares? So, my top tip, if you want to get a job with zero relevant industry experience, like I did, I worked in pubs before I worked at Klout, is to make it as creative and stand out as much as possible. So I made an Instagram CV, which I'm sure the boys can add like a cool, here it is, thanks boys, to just stand out from the crowd. And yeah, and it worked. I got an interview, smashed the interview, got a job. And that was all without having to write a single pointless cover letter or a CV where you have to like send that in and then also answer all exactly the same questions in like a form, which is insane, by the way. If you're an employer and you still do that, get in the bin. So yeah, those are my top tips, is to be creative, stand out from the crowd, read the brief as well. Oh my god, the amount of people that still send CVs when we're like in big bold letters, do not send your CV.
So for me, joining Klout was a bit of a sales process within itself. I got rejected after the first interview, but called Amelia back an hour later and said, look, I know kind of where I've gone wrong. This is what I'd do differently if I was to do it again. And basically, would you give me another shot? Now, in that situation, worst case scenario is it's still a no, but you give yourself a chance. Especially if you're applying for a sales role, what better way of showcasing that you can, you know, handle objections and overturn a decision to get the outcome that you want than doing that as part of the process. I mean, ideally, get the job first time round, but failing that, persistence and not giving up goes a long way.
So fun fact, when I found out about this job for Klout, I had actually already been looking for jobs on Indeed, Googled, and, you know, basic normal search. And then when I was taking a break from looking at jobs, I came across the advert for this role, the copywriter role, on TikTok. So I think it goes to show that actually, when you think about where your next employees or next hires are likely to be, they're most likely going to be on social media. So instead of blowing out this huge budget on big marketing campaigns for your new hire, just set up a really fun TikTok that'll literally take a couple of minutes to film. And I also like the fact that it just built more of a genuine connection. I didn't even feel like I was applying for a job.
It went far.
It went far, but it didn't get in the hole, which is unfortunately the point.
Before you get the bad shot on the vlog.
Let's practice. I don't like these.
Shot. It's a black one again. Get it on there just for Matt. That'll be it, Matt, that one. Oh yeah, 2-3-2, it's not bad. Right,
I think
it means my last shot's done double.
Go on then. Last shot of the day. Come on, Samuel. Huh? Well, we both said in this game I wanted to get over 50 and he needed to get 100, so close. Good one-to-one?
Yes, much better than doing it immediately.
Okay, I'm here today to talk a little bit about how I got my job and what difference £40 on a ring light in Argos made to me. If I'm honest, I probably wildly overspent on it, but I needed to get out and get something done, and that was the way that I saw it happening. I'm not quite young enough to understand TikTok Shop, so yeah, you can probably get them cheaper. Don't do what I did, be more smart. The point I'm trying to make is I could have sent in an application which said I'm not qualified for this job, and I would have been immediately thrown out of the pile. They wouldn't even have considered me. What I chose to do instead was I chose to buy this ring light, stand for hours in front of my camera in my bedroom in my old flat back up in Derby, saying the same thing over and over again, and I mean hours. Horrible, horrible afternoon, but it was worth it. I'm really trying to say that, you know, when you're going for a job that maybe you're not qualified for, it's almost certainly not going to be easy for you to get it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And if you really want it, you should try really hard, because you won't get it otherwise.
Right, I don't know if I look fat in like this, but I'm gonna have to do it like this. So I've been asked a few times about the unorthodox way that I got a job at Klout, and to simply put it, essentially I identified Amelia as a very good podcast guest. I thought she had very strong opinions, and I thought we could discuss more about personal branding and about her own personal journey in becoming the personal branding queen. And obviously, as any good podcast host would do, I decided to do as much research as I possibly could so I could create a really unique interview and have a really good podcast episode with her. And as I did more research, I started following some of her employees, and I realized that I really enjoyed some of the content that Klout were putting out there. So I engaged with it. I followed it on social, followed Klout on social media. I decided to comment, I would share, I would even DM some of the employees. And essentially, before I'd even joined and before I'd even interviewed Amelia, I'd already become a fairly common name within the Klout office. In fact, Sarah told me once I joined that she actually suggested me for one of the vacancies, but Amelia told her that at the time I was working somewhere else and that I couldn't join Klout. After I interviewed Amelia on my podcast, she essentially just went, you know what, I really like how proactive you are, I like your attitude, and she took a huge risk and offered me a job. Fair play to her, because I could have been a knobhead. Thankfully, I'm not a knobhead, and since joining Klout, in my first full quarter, I was voted Employee of the Quarter, and I was the first person to pass probation 3 months early, so you'll love to see it. I decided to do as much research as I possibly could so I could, so I could create the most what the flip's the word? I can't even remember. And what was the other thing that I did? What did I do? There was another thing I did. Oh,